All right, everybody, we are back again for another episode of the Coaches Conference. Now, it's season 6, but remember, I don't know what episode it is. I just continue to record, continue to bring on cool guests from all across the world. Remember, hit that like, subscribe, comment button down below so we can continue to have this thing grow, and continue to bring on cool guests from all over the world. I've got another special guest with me here today. I've got Coach Reddick. He does athlete performance and adult training, is the owner and operator of Rare Training out of Columbus, Ohio. Coach, welcome, and thank you for being here on the Coaches Conference today.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me, man. Really appreciate you.
Of course, man. So, you look back to, the beginning of your coaching journey, and you think about, what was Coach Reddick chasing back then that he's no longer chasing now?
Oh, man, but it was a bunch of things, man. So I started off as like a football coaching, like for one, and then I was also doing training and stuff, like training as well. So I was actually chasing the coaching dream. So I was trying to get onto the college ranks somewhere and possibly the NFL, and then that So I did that for about 3-4 years, just chasing that. And me and my wife, I was living in Greensboro at the time because I went to school in North Carolina. And man, so we did 3 years long distance, and that was rough. Yeah, so 3 years long distance, and our third year we got to that make and break stage, and it was basically like, are you going to move to here or am I going to move there? And I'm like, well, I ain't moving from North Carolina, man. The weather is nice, like it's
Real nice.
Good out here. The snow is not as bad. It melts within 15 minutes.
Ain't really no snow in North Carolina.
Yeah. So we got to that stage, man, and my wife's a teacher. So she did her research on, the schools, down there. And, she was like, well, she said, man, I can't move down there just because I won't be supported as much as I would be here in, Columbus. And the pay is a lot more better than it is in Columbus than it is in Carolina. So I was like, all right. So then I was like, all right, man, I'm gonna move back. So perks was, man, I'm close to my family in Detroit. So it's a 3-hour drive to, Michigan, whereas in North Carolina it's 10, 11 hours. So I could just anytime, just grab the kids and we can just, drive back to see my grandma, my mom, my dad, my brother, my family. Whereas in North Carolina, man, you got to plan it out and you got to, drive or fly, and that's extra money. So it actually ended up working out better from that way. So yeah, I moved here and still coach football, still training. And then COVID hit. Then I kind of just started my own business at that point. And then my daughter was born in 2020. I stopped coaching football when she was born and just kind of focused more on training. And then actually I got back into it when she turned 3. And then my son was born a year ago. And I was like, I can't do it, man.
There's a lot going on.
It's a lot. Yeah. So I gotta focus on training, man. So that's what I've been doing ever since.
I love it. Where in North Carolina did you go to school at?
Catawba College. That's in Salisbury.
You're right down the street from me. I was at Charlotte. So I started off at Wake Forest, transferred over to Charlotte. When we started the football program, small world, because you brought up Greensboro. But also there's that transition of going from being an athlete to now, one, being a coach, but also you were chasing the football coaching world and trying to get in the college sector. What was that transition like, and how tough was it to kind of, some people don't know, to climb that ladder of being like a college coach is more difficult than people think. It's not just you can jump in and, hey, I was once a player, I can go coach.
Yeah, it's hard, man. Like it's kind of about who you know, man. If you don't know anybody that's in that realm, then it's hard for you to get on because it's like a fraternity, I would say, for those like college guys or coaches. So it's like, hey man, it's a guy who knows such and such, he's doing this, that, and the third. And if you know somebody and they will take the chance to bring you on. But yeah, man, I filled out resumes and did all that stuff, man. Had the credentials. Nobody bit, man. So I'm like,
I hate to laugh about it, but I know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like looking at your resume, you're applying to these places, even if it's not even a college in the college sector, right? You're looking at high schools and stuff like that, and you're like, well, dang, did what I do not even matter? Like, what's the point?
Yeah. So I did that, man, and was coaching. And then once I moved here, it's kind of when I realized it's not working. It's not going to go that way, that route. So man, I got to pivot somewhere else. So I just basically just locked in on training, man. And I was the strength and conditioning coach so my first school was Mifflin High School. I did the list for the football team. And then I also coached the defensive line as well. And then after the football season was over with, I basically got on for wrestling. So I was the strength coach for wrestling. I actually coached wrestling for 2 years as well. And I was the strength conditioning coach for the track team and the throws coach. So my plate was well full.
Coach really embodied that whole role of being coach.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. And then, yeah, like I said, basically, man, like once my daughter came, man, I kind of put all that aside, man, and just was like, you know what, just let me do training. And, I just kind of locked in on training, started my own training business. I actually started training at LA Fitness first. Well, so I did the high school stuff first. And then when I moved here, so in North Carolina, I coached football and I did the workouts as well. And then I also used to work with adults with autism as well. So I did that for 3 years. And then when I moved here to Columbus, I continued on, with the path with the adults with autism for a year. And then my wife was like, maybe you should apply to be in the schools, so you can be able to go from the, in the school system, and it'd be kind of easier, like transition. So I applied to be a teacher's paraprofessional for special ed. So these were like, it was special ed ED, so emotionally disturbed. So had a lot of kids, man, yeah, they was kind of cutthroat, man. But I mean, I was fine with that, man. Like, me coaching ball and coming from Detroit, man, like I'm used to that kind of, that gritty and those, like just that kind of, kids atmosphere. And, sorry, my headphones keep falling off. So did that for 2 years, man. And after a while I was like, it's too much, man. Like these kids, just going from coaching, from teaching them all day and then going to the high school and messing with the kids. I was like, I need a little break from kids in general.
You'd be mentally tapped out by then, bro. Like you gotta be on. Like we're not even talking about every hour, but you gotta be on every minute and every second because you don't know what's going to pop off.
Yeah. Exactly. So I did that for 2 years, man. And then I was like, I can't do it no more. So I just kind of bet on myself, man, and started personal training. And I started at LA Fitness first. I did that for 3 years. And then, like I said, COVID came around, and kind of at that point, I just kind of launched my own personal training business. And then ever since then, man, I've been doing that.
I mean, that's the side of coaching that people don't really see or know or hear about. Like you talked about, like in that just like short period, I heard about like 10 different jobs, coach. Like you talking about, you went from the football D-line coach, the strength conditioning coach, wrestling weightlifting coach, throwers coach, track coach, coaching special education, right? Like moving. Coach, that's a lot. That's a lot, brother. But that's a part that people don't realize. Like this coaching world, even though they see it on Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff, and it looks like we're doing amazing, like we're doing great. Sometimes when we first get started out, or even throughout the journey as we're trying to continue to build our name and build our brand, you're doing jobs for little to no money. We're also scrounging around. And it's not to say that the college side isn't like that, because if you look at the GAs, right, you look at the people that are interning, right, they're getting little to no money. They're bartending on the side or doing somewhere else, right, just to build up. Why is the college world, or not even the college world, the coaching world and training world, such a difficult one to break into? And when will the mold ever change to like actually be paid what you're worth? Because we're talking about people's lives are in their hands, right? We're trying to help people get on a better fitness journey, right, to live a healthier lifestyle. And even autistic kids, coach. Like you're talking about adult autistic kids, right? They're high functioning, right? Being able to live on their own, but you still got to be on.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, man. It just kept me on my toes, man, and just kept me just aware of everything, honestly, man, doing that, man. And then it just gave me like a different perspective of just life in general, man. Like, just being appreciative, like what I have, and just, just how I'm living, and don't take it for granted, man. Like, cause it can be, gone in a second, or, just, just be gone in a second. So I think that kind of helped me out too. And I think my personality as well, kind of ties on. I think it helps out a lot with, like what I was doing and like my transitions to my transitioning. I think my personality helped out with that as well. Yeah, man, it was tough, man. And honestly, it's still a grind, man. It's still a grind. Yeah, it's definitely still a grind.
I don't think it ever stops becoming a grind. That's the
Nah.
part of coaching that people
Yeah.
don't realize. Like you can get further and further in the game, but the game also continues to, elevate, right? If you want to continue to go on, like you got to continue to learn from others and also
Yep.
be able to bring others in and teach them the ways. But if you look at your journey as a coach, who are you kind of looking up to and learning from in the coaching industry and continuing to help you, fine tune your tools?
My peers, man, honestly. It's a couple guys at the gym that I train at. Shout out Chuck, man, and the owner Alex of Power Motion, man. Those guys are guys that I look up to. Um, my high school coach, Coach Carter, is another person who I look up to. Coach Will is another person. My coach from high school as well. That's my O-line coach in high school. Trying to think, it was my college coaches, Coach Hubbard and Coach Locke. Those guys, and then even just my friends, my homeboys, just them being able to, like me, like reaching out to them and, just seeing what they're doing and just kind of, want to match the same energy as well. Cause it's at the end of the day, man, you're still competing too, man. So I think from that point too, man. So like if my boy is, got this job or if he's doing this, like, okay, like, I gotta level up, man. I gotta go ahead and get my game together too, man. So I could be there as well. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I mean, that's the one thing I think that drives a lot of former athletes to get into this world of coaching afterwards is not only just helping the next athlete, but it's a way to continue to compete,
Compete.
right? Like
Yep.
you said, like your homeboys are like doing well. You're like, hey, like in a healthy way, like I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
level up myself, right? Like I want to
Right.
get better. But if a young coach were to follow you around for like a week, right, what do you think would they be surprised about, your day-to-day life as a coach?
I don't really get to sit down, man. Just how much I'm on my feet, just how much I'm moving, just how much little rest you get just during the day. So just a quick, just a quick summary of my day. So my wife's a teacher, so she's up at her alarm goes off at 6:30. So of course, that's when I wake up because her alarm goes off. So I'm up around 6:30 as well. Usually I have like a virtual session around 7. And that's like 2 or 3 times a week. So I'll do a virtual session with some clients who I try, for an hour. Then usually after that, I may, get a quick breakfast or a little smoothie or a protein shake or whatever. And then I get dressed and then, I get my kids up. So my wife leaves for school around 7 and I have my daughter that's 5 and my son that's 1. I get my daughter up at 8, get her ready, make sure she has everything she needs, snacks. And I get my son up around 8:15, 8:20, and we go. So I drop my son off at the babysitter, and then usually me and my daughter goes to the gym. So I take my daughter with me to the gym, which I've been doing that with her since she's been 3 months. I've been taking her to the gym. I've been carrying her around me with me to the gym since she's been 3 months. So it's 5 years now that I've been carrying her around with me. Go to the gym, either I'll train or I'll work out myself. And I'll probably go, I try to go for an hour, hour and a half, work out, get her back home. She has a later start for school. She starts at school around 12:30. Get her home, get her a little snack for, before school. I may sit down for 30, 40 minutes. And then I get her ready for school, make sure her, everything is good, clothes, whatever. Get her lunch, drop her off at school, come back home. I may eat lunch, watch some on YouTube, hop in the shower. Then also I'm a strength conditioning coach at it's a high school up here called Northland High School. So I'm the strength coach at the high school as well, and I train all the sports there. So I'm there about 2:45, and I train from 2:45 to about 5:30. I have a group session at 6 at my other gym. I get there around 6, train from 6 to about 7:15 maybe. Get home around 7:30, quarter to 8. I'm with family.
Right back to it.
Right back to, yep. And I'm usually in the bed probably like around 10:30, and then I'm back up again the next day, and it's the same thing.
Over and over, right? The,
Over and
the
over again.
repeat cycle, rinse
Yes,
and
sir.
repeat. Coach, we fast forward 10, 15 years from now. What do you hope people say about the way you coached? Not just who you coached, but how Coach Reddick coached?
Man, I'm laid back, man. Like people look at me and be like, yeah, man, this dude, he's going to yell at you, he's going to be in your face, he's going to scream now. No, I can't get animated. Like I do get excited, all that stuff. But just my demeanor, man, like, I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm laid back, very knowledgeable. I can point out all, just all the, technique and imbalances, all that stuff, like just like that. Very attention to detail, very, very just like I'm sticking on technique. So if your technique ain't right, we ain't doing this, man. Like we gonna break it all the way down and we gonna build back up. But yeah, and then just creative, man. Like I'm very creative, and and then I feel like sometimes, man, like I'm like my training is unorthodox as well. Like some things, people be like, why are we doing this? And then they be like, okay, now it makes sense to why we're training this way or why we're doing this lift this way. So, but yeah, but mostly just laid back and calm demeanor, man. I think that would probably be, be the one thing that everybody kind of, will point out. And then, like I said, just very attention detail oriented for me.
Love it. Love it. Because sometimes not everybody needs that coach is going to yell at them all the time or be in their face. Like you said, you're animated when you need to, right?
Yep.
But you don't always need to be that person, because especially when you're working with young kids, like you said, you're at the high school level, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what they've been through for that day, right? So getting to know them, like sometimes it's just like, hey, like, yes, like you might need it today for me to get on to you a little bit. But other days, man, they just need somebody to tell them, like, yo, I'm here for you. I care about you, bro. I'm here to help you get better. But outside of this weight room and your sport, right, you're a person. You're a human.
Yeah.
But the textbooks don't teach us that. So what's something that you wish you would have known when you first got into this coaching world that you're kind of trying to help some of these younger coaches understand?
Just trusting the process. Like, just don't rush it. Like it's, man, I'm 38 years old, man. And it took me, like I said, man, I graduated college when I was 21, 22 maybe. And, was that 16, 14 years ago. You still, you still trying to figure it all out, man. Like you won't never get it all at once, man. Like you're gonna have to go through, some bruises, man, and some cuts and some scrapes, man, just to get to where you want to get to. So trust the process, man. Don't rush the grind. And then also, man, like just be nice to people too, like along the way, because you never know who you run into or who's, is watching from afar, man, like, or like admiring, they work from afar and they may, could be a shortcut, to where you want to get to as well. So you never know, man.
I love it, Coach. Last thing before we get out of here, you got 10 seconds to motivate a room. What are you saying?
Motivate a room. Oh man, I'm gonna say, oh man. So yeah, it kind of put me on the spot, but most of the time, for me, honestly, man, it's just more so. So like my number one thing is just how many of you guys want to play on the next level, and it's always 95% of the kids, athletes that raise their hand, and I'm just gonna say, sorry, crap. And most of the time it's just what you put in the weight room now is going to reflect, what you get on the next level. So if you come in here and if you, going through the motions or not being intentional with the workouts or not attention to detail with the workouts, then it's pointless to even try to, thinking about consider going and playing on the next level, because that's what they look at, or like that's what it is. Everything is detail oriented, attention to detail, and just with intention. And if y'all not willing to do that and go through this process, then get out.
That's it. As simple as that, right? Because the next person coming along is going to be willing to do that. But Coach, I want to say thank you, man, for coming on today and keeping it real, keeping it honest, and telling us what it's like to go through this coaching journey. Like you said, it's not, you had about 30 different jobs, Coach. You're only 30, my brother. And we're just now talking about, like, we're just scraping the surface. So I want to say thank you, Coach. And what you're doing is amazing, and continue on.
Hey, man, I really appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me on, man.
And we're out. Coach.